you. I'm currently living in Pittsburgh and taking science and math prerequisite classes so I can apply for graduate school to become a nurse practitioner. So I'm learning all of the stuff that you all took your freshman year. But I am available by email, as is Claudia, and I'm excited to get to work with you, although remotely this summer.
Hey, Sasha, I don't know if you mentioned this is going to be Sasha's third MSRP summer, and so I couldn't let her go, and she was gracious to work with us even remotely. I might try to convince her to come visit us at some point in the summertime, if not for some point in one of our community activities for the poster session. So that is the ODGE staff, and ODGE is the Office for the Dean of Graduate Education, and it's similar to what you, like your institutions, might call the graduate school. But here at MIT, you're going to learn that there's a lot of jargon and there's a lot of different things that we do, and you'll learn as you get through. But some of what we wanted to talk to you about today is just going through some housekeeping items in advance of your arrival, and to make sure that you have a good transition from your home or your home institution, wherever you might be right now. I know some people are actually still in classes, and really can kind of, if you have any questions about the recent emails that either Sasha or Claudia or myself have sent out, that you're able to get those questions answered. So the first thing I want to talk about, just starting off, is housing, and actually let's start with traveling. Boston Logan Airport is a very busy hub. Boston, there is a ton of traffic, even on a Sunday, which is the day that many of you are traveling on June 4th. And so what you can expect is that there's going to be a lot of hubbub in the airport, and there are different ways to get to MIT. We're actually about, I would say, maybe 15 to 20 minutes away from the airport. You can either grab a taxi, you can take an Uber. There is some Uber. If you want to be adventurous, you can take ground transportation. And what I'm going to do here is that Sasha and Claudia actually set up in our cohort website different information. So, Sasha, Claudia, do you want to talk about the website and how you've arranged the travel information?
So you've probably, hopefully, all seen this as you were working with Mariella to book your travel to get to MIT. But if you go onto the website or webpage, which is msrpgeneral.mit.edu, you click on the travel information tab, and within that section and each sub-page, you'll find different information about getting to Boston, getting from the airport to campus, different ways to do that, including by shuttle, and then how to get reimbursed and what you can get reimbursed for in terms of travel costs that may come out of pocket. I would say, depending on what time you're coming in, if it's close to rush hour, it may take a little bit longer to get to MIT from the airport. It should be a pretty smooth ride.
The only other thing that I would say about traveling is that we're going to be here. So whatever time you arrive, we'll make sure, well, the staff will be available from noontime afterwards. So if you do arrive a little early, you can check your bag at Next House, and Next House is actually located on 500 Memorial Drive. So if you are either typing an address to Google Maps or need the specific address, it's located here. Again, I'm going to refer to this website constantly because I think it's an awesome resource for all of you so that you don't have to dig through emails, but all of the information is right here at your fingertips. If there aren't any problems with your flight, please try to contact Mariella, but of course she's only going to be available during business hours, so we do hope that you reach out to Claudia, myself, or Sasha during the on the day of travel, because I don't think Mariella would be available. So do you have any tips for them based on your experience in the past 2 summers with students maybe run into any logistical issues while they travel?
I think the main issue is just flight delays. And if your flight is delayed to get into Boston later than expected, we will make sure that you have cell phone numbers and our email addresses, of course. So please do out if you're coming in late, so we don't worry about you. We know where you are and about what time you'll arrive. Besides that, should be fairly straightforward.
Okay, great. All right. The other thing that you are going to need coming into Boston, because even though the airport's only 15 or 20 minutes away, depending on the traffic, and then also arriving and checking in, is that we're going to ask for your patience as we set everything up and make sure that you get to check in. There will be a calendar that we set up. The first activity is checking in, but for those of you who do arrive early, you will be able to go on a tour that is hosted by one of our official tour guides who also works here at MIT. His name is Ed Balla in the TPP program, Technology Policy Program. He will be offering a tour at 3 o'clock. But there are other things that you can do in Boston. So likely what I noticed students doing last year was just really taking in a nap or just resting or catching up on either email or calling home. So you'll be able to do that as well. Just a heads up, Boston weather. All of you are coming in from so many different places across the country. We kind of don't know what our weather is going to be like here in Boston on that day. Weather.com is a good resource. I would ask that you check it often and as close to your departure date as possible. I think it might be raining. It might be, this week, and Claudia, you could correct me, but I think it was maybe 80 degrees one day and then 60 degrees another day. And then we've had some rain and we've had some wind. So what I would say for folks who are coming to Boston for the first time, the most important thing to do, not only in the early part of June, but even as you're packing for the entire summer, is that you think of dressing in layers so that in the morning when you're rushing out to your research group or to your lab, it might be a little chilly, but in the afternoon you're going to go out to lunch and then you might not need that jacket or the sweatshirt that you brought in the morning. And then in the evening it might be a little chillier, but it might not be. And so it's going to range, and that's really going to range throughout the entire summer. Claudia, do you want to give them any tips about Boston weather and what they might expect during the summer?
I would definitely say bring an umbrella if you have one, because it does rain, and it just rains unexpectedly, and it'll probably rain forever all day. So definitely bring an umbrella if you have one, or like a waterproof jacket. But then definitely it is summer, so it does get really hot. Like it's humid hot, if that helps anyone. It's not like dry heat. It's like it's humid and it's hot, and not every place has AC. Really.
That your dorms will not have AC. So what I remember a lot of students doing who arrived earlier on move-in day, because unfortunately you won't be able to check into your rooms until late afternoon, and so still cleaning them and making sure they're set for you. Running to some of the local stores to pick up fans for your room and things like that. So keep that as well, that it may be really warm in your dorm. So if you're just hanging out there, you definitely want to have warm, good summer clothes.
And speaking of dormitories and housing, so you know there's no ACs in the dorms. We do recommend that students buy fans. Sasha, do you want to give a little tip about where to buy the fans and what students have done in the past?
We'll be giving you information when you arrive as well, or access online to a list of resources and stores and things. But there are a lot of stores like Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, and that are really walking distance or one subway T-stop away from campus that are easy to get to. So you'll be able to check that out once you're on campus as well. And you can either get the window fans or personal fans, whatever works for you. Just keep in mind that whatever you get, you will need to take you at the end of the summer. You can't leave things in the dorm.
Right. And then the other thing that I would suggest that everybody get some type of a fan, because we usually have maybe one or two days that make it to like heat stroke days where it's like really extremely hot. And the dormitories, you all are going to start in next house for the first 2 weeks, and then you're going to move into McCormick. And McCormick last summer was extremely hot, and the higher you go, depending on the floor that you live on, even opening the windows doesn't give you enough draft from enough wind from the Charles River in order to cool down. So I strongly suggest that everybody get some type of a fan. One question I want to ask for Claudia and Sasha is that we got a question about kitchens. Can you all describe the amenities in the dormitories for us?
Yes. So next house, which will be the first dorm that you guys will move into, and we'll be there for 2 weeks. And the reason for this is because they're moving into the dorm the week before, a couple days before graduation. So the dorm, like housing department has to like quickly turn over the dorms. So we are going to stay in next house for the first 2 weeks. And in next house, there's a large shared kitchen in the basement with 4 stoves and 4 sinks, and many kitchen sections and lounge areas of each wing of the building. And many kitchen sections, it means that it does not have a stove. It might have like a fridge and like a sink, but there's no stove. You have to share this common area of the kitchen with other programs. So just so you guys know, other programs will be staying in the dorms that we will be staying in. For example, there's MSRP Bio, who pretty much runs similar to us, but they are the Bio and Cognitive Science group, and there's about 30, some of them as well. So there's that group, and then there's a couple other summer groups. So you will have to share that area, and it does not come with like pans and pots or like this. So if you will be doing cooking, you will have to bring those things with you if you want to like use the kitchen. If you move to McCormick, there will be full shared kitchens on every floor. So you would only have to share the kitchen with your floor mate. I'm not sure if I'm missing anything. Sasha, do you anything you would want to add?
No, I think that covers it for kitchens. Both dorms will have coin-operated laundry machines as well. I'm seeing a couple of questions that have come up in the chat. And if you buy things for the summer for the dorm, you'll be able to donate them locally before you go. And you can order things online, of course, but keep in mind that they shouldn't arrive before you do and before you're assigned a room, just to make sure that they get to you and there are no mail incidents on the way.
So we have a question here also about the gym. I'm going to like jump to this question. So the gym is an option for you, and we will be sending out like a opt-in or opt-out form for you to fill out. And that means that you don't have to sign up for the gym. You can do it if you want, and it's going to be $50 from your part. If you do sign up for them, those $50 will come out of your third stipend check on July 7th. And we'll be sending this information in an email too, so you have it in writing, and you will have access to the gym the full 10 weeks. So we'll ask that you tell us whether you opt in or opt out before the program starts, so that when you guys arrive by like June 6th, you guys will have access to the gym. So you guys don't have to worry about that, about waiting an extended period amount of time for you guys to have access. And then, of course, if you do opt in, you will have to fill out a waiver form and just understand the rules of the gym here on campus. Will come along soon for you guys. Of course, if you have any other questions, you can send me a direct email or post it on the chat. So like mentioned before, the dorms do not have air conditioning, so remember that. We will need you to bring an official photo ID with you on your first day for you to have access to the dorm rooms, and this is because you have not received your MIT ID yet, which your MIT ID will be activated to give you access to the building, and it will be your key to the building. But because you do not have that on the first day, to check in and move in, you do need to have an official government ID. If you're licensed, or passport, and it really is up to you. And then, of course, for orientation, that's when you will receive your ID card, and you don't have any problems getting in. So another piece of information, just so while you are moving in, we do ask that you are patient, especially with our MIT dorm staff, because they are, during this time that you guys are moving in, they are still cleaning up and moving everything around. We do ask that you are patient with them and don't get too frustrated with the moves, because it is really close to MIT students moving out and getting ready for graduation with you guys moving in. Just like a reminder, we won't be the only group there, so there will be multiple groups in the dorms that you will be staying in. And if you do anything via online or want to receive anything in mail, you have to check with the front desk. Question. Let's see.
There's a question about, will the program sign us up for a meal plan that can sign up for it individually? Unfortunately, MIT does not offer a meal plan during the summer for any student. And so all of our dining halls in the dormitories are closed for the summer. There are a few dining locations where you can purchase food on campus, and we will actually have someone who is works at MIT Medical in the Community Wellness Division coming and giving you all some tips during orientation about how to, what's the best way to navigate shopping and eat healthy during the summertime.
And provide a list of resources that has all of the names and locations of local supermarkets, local restaurants, all of that stuff as well, so you don't have to figure that out blindly.
So I'm showing you on my screen, there is a section here on the website. You'll be responsible for your own food, and so hopefully make that stipend stretch throughout the summer and you don't buy everything at Laverty's, which is in our student center, but that you try to go to either Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or one of the local area supermarkets, and maybe Uber together, because that's what I've heard some students doing, is that they grab, get an Uber on a Sunday, they go and they end up buying groceries together. And I just put in the chat the link to the Z Center, so if you want to check out what is offered at the gym, here we call it the Z Center, check out the website and look at what is available.
And
Go ahead, Sasha.
I was just going to comment that the MIT gym is state-of-the-art. It's really amazing. This gym membership does not include access to the MIT Sailing Pavilion or the sailing program, which is something if you were interested in, you'd have to sign up for separately. But I know every year people come up to us to ask if that's included, and unfortunately not part of the summer membership.
And just like a reminder for a couple of you, or just for everyone really, that housing, we are only providing housing from June 4th to August 12th. And like we said in previous emails, you may arrive early to Boston or depart later from Boston, and we will still cover that, but we won't cover housing. So if you are arriving earlier, please make sure that you have housing before the 4th, because we will not be able to provide housing before the 4th, and we will not be able to provide housing after the 12th. So as long as you have housing and want to stay there, we have no problem with you doing whatever you decide to do, as long as you keep in mind that we can only provide housing from June 4th to August 12th.
Okay. Can you see the screen that I have on? I actually have the website up. I'm trying to make sure that I am showing you the proper screen based on my end of things.
I only see your screensaver or your wallpaper. I see the flowers.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, let me see if I could change that here.
Okay.
What now?
I see the website.
Okay, I've been trying to go through all of this with you all, thinking that I thought that you all were able to see this, but this is the site that I was referring to earlier that Sasha and Claudia both compiled, and so it does have information about the food, it has information about housing, it has information about travel as well. So please use the website. They'll be adding things as we go along. So it'll be a wealth of information for you at your fingertips at any time that you need it. And Sasha and Claudia, any other things about housing that we should address now?
Just a couple things. We really would like for you to familiarize yourself with the housing policy for MIT, just because the rules do differ for summer housing. Just a friendly reminder, no alcohol in the dorms regardless of your age, and no overnight guests. If you're going to have overnight guests, we suggest maybe getting an Airbnb or a hotel. I know hotels can be expensive in the city, so we just ask that you think ahead of time for that. And those are like the two main rules, but please make sure that you familiarize yourself with the summer housing policy. The day that you guys move in, we will have a housing representative talk to you guys in depth about the policies and expectations. Of course, expect everyone to conduct themselves in a well-behaved manner while being on MIT housing. So we don't suspect any going to go crazy. So yeah, just please read that.
Okay, so I think, and Sasha, correct me if I'm wrong, those are the logistics in terms of where you live and getting to MIT. And so does anybody have any questions regarding housing or travel? Okay, so let's move on.
What's the question about the climbing center? I can pull up an email.
Question for the housing place.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Carlos Vega Diaz from Puerto Rico. I want to ask because do you recommend packing for the whole 2 months, or do you recommend that we pack then we have laundry facilities or in the city, or what has been experienced in the past years?
I would say you will have operated laundry facilities in both of the dorms where you're staying, so you can definitely take advantage of those. And in terms of out-of-pocket travel costs, MSRP will cover the cost of one checked bag at normal weight, no overweight bag. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you end up requiring extra suitcases in order to bring everything for the summer, it may come out of pocket, so keep that in mind. And as you have a range of clothes for the weather, as well as clothes that can get dirty for Project Adventure, business clothes for your poster session and any formal presentations, and as lab group clothes, you should be good.
Again, I'm just going to give a plug for the MSRP website cohort website. There is a section that's called What to Bring, and Sasha and Claudia have already listed what are things that you should possibly bring. You don't have to bring, very many things, but definitely an array of clothing that you feel comfortable in and something that you can dress up in on occasion as well. And there will be a specific list that we send out for items related to Project Adventure.
So we will also be taking headshots. So if you guys can, like, at least bring that, if you guys want to take like, your in a particular shirt, that should be from your upper body up, just a heads up. So we will be taking those when you guys arrive, during orientation.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about paychecks, because that's going to be another thing. We mentioned that we don't offer a meal plan, so you are going to receive your first paycheck during orientation. So Claudia, I was wondering if you could talk just a little bit more about their first paycheck and then how many times they'll get paid throughout the summer as well.
So your first paycheck will be in paper form. You know that there was a handful of you that did sign up for direct deposit, but your first paycheck has to be in paper form. We will have to like hand deliver it to you, and then we'll sign your name that you received it. And then after that, you will, if you sign up for direct deposit, you will be receiving in your bank every 2 weeks. If you are an international student or have opted to get a paper check, you have to pick up your paper check. Cynthia Smith, who is our administrative assistant in our office, and he is in our headquarters in Building 3, Room 138. Of course, we'll give you guys this information in writing so that you have that. If you have opted in to take the GRE class, and that is $175, that will come out of your July 7th stipend, and that is your third paycheck. We have a total of, I want to say that the total is of 5 paychecks, and every 2 weeks. But if you, like I said, if you sign up for the GRE, it will come out of your third paycheck, as well as if you sign up for the gym, if you opt into the gym, that will also come out of your third paycheck. So you guys to keep that in mind. If you do both, they will both be taken out of your third paycheck. So see that your check is a little smaller than it was the previous check. That is the reason why. So just that you guys know and aren't like too surprised when you see that. But of course, we will remind you again so that you know that reduction will happen on your third paycheck on July 7th.
I'm just going to send just a small reminder, if possible, please mute your cell phone. There's some tapping that's going about, and I'm not quite sure exactly whose call it's from, but if you can, please remember to mute your phones. Okay, so we talked a lot about logistics. We've talked about housing. We've talked about travel. We've talked about food and paychecks. But you all are coming to MIT to do research and to learn about research. And so I'm going to move us into what that experience is going to be like, because I can tell you that it's going to be very exciting. Claudia and I earlier today went to part 2 of research supervisor training. So for a few of you, your research supervisor either is a postdoc or an MIT graduate student, and they joined us over a course of 2 days to talk about how to best prepare for your arrival, some tips and some tricks of the trade from our teaching and learning lab. What I'm showing right now is that MSRP has been around for 31 years, and we have had a number of alumni who complete the program. And I can assure you that close to everyone completes the program. You will too. And so we're waiting for the end of the 10 weeks to see your smiling faces that day. But what's going to happen while you're here? And what we've done is MSRP is a very structured program. And we believe that we want to give you the MIT experience. And in order to do that as best as we possibly can, what we've done is created a network of support, of folks that you will be in touch with throughout the summer on a consistent basis. And so you have you here at the center, our research intern who comes from, we have folks from all across the country, from HBCUs to small liberal arts colleges to large state institutions, sophomores, juniors, seniors, I think from mostly all disciplines except for business management, because we don't actually place students in Sloan. But we have a political scientist, we have folks, many engineers, we have folks that are interested in chemistry and in physics and in math, and so there is going to be a wide array of disciplines and a wide array of diversity within your cohort. And the people that are going to be around you are, of course, your faculty mentor, and there's going to be a MIT faculty member who is going to give you or to provide you an overview of what it is like to be at MIT and to help guide you into applying for and or looking at Research One universities for possibly your PhD, because we're all hoping that as you go through the summer that you will consider applying to MIT at some point, as well as other top-tier graduate programs. And your faculty mentor, that may or may not be someone who is going to be consistently in contact with you. For many of you, that person is going to be your research supervisor. And your research supervisor is either an advanced graduate student, a postdoc, or a research scientist who is really going to oversee the day-to-day work that you're going to go through as you do research throughout the year, throughout the summer, throughout the 10 weeks that we have. I can tell you that we have 36 interns that are coming into MSRP that are part of your cohort. We are going to have 36 configurations of interaction between faculty members, interactions between supervisors. So not each and every one of your relationships are going to be alike. And we want you all to talk about the different experiences that you have, and that is why we have you set up in what is right here, which is what we call a pod. A pod is a small team of your fellow interns that get together once a week to talk about the highlights and the lowlights of your research experience. And what we're hoping is that you all can support one another in solving different challenges, but then also celebrating successes that you have throughout the summer. And your pod is led by a program assistant who is an MIT graduate student who's really there not to oversee your research, not to be your tutor, but to help counsel and mentor you throughout the summer. So that's the person that works closely with myself, with Claudia, with Sasha, to really make sure that you're acclimating to MIT, that if there's any issues that arise either in or outside of the lab or your research group, that we can help you kind of strategize or how to talk to your research mentor, how to approach your faculty mentor. But the program assistants are also going to be the ones who are going to lead your pod meetings and those weekly check-ins and making sure that you're in your deliverables. They'll be taking attendance at our different events throughout the summer. So they're going to be very integral people to your network of support. And then you also have the ODGE staff. So that's myself, Claudia, Sasha, and you'll also get to meet several ODGE staff members. So ODGE, again, is the Office of the Dean for Graduate Education throughout the summer as well. So we're hoping that with this network of supportive people, we can assure you that you will have, if you make sure that you access this network, you have an awesome experience throughout the summer. Something that you'd like to add about the network?
No, I think you covered it.
All right, great. So a few things, because we are running out of time here. What do you need to do to prepare for the experience? Make sure you check the MSRP General Cohort website. Subscribe to our Google Calendar. I've put the link here on the PowerPoint that we'll send to you, but we'll also make sure to send it to you via email. There will be two modes of communication for us, not only via email to your mit.edu email, but also if you can download GroupMe to your cell phone, that's going to be a way that you can interact with both the ODGE staff as well as your program assistants. Also download Dropbox. What we've decided to do this year is to go green, and so rather than give you a large manual that Sasha has put together for the past 2 summers, we are going to make sure that we upload all of the documents online, and as things change, we also add new resources, and you'll have that available. So do you want to talk about either Dropbox or any of these things that they can do?
Sure. So as Gloria said, we will be posting the Google Calendar to the website and send it out by email, so you'll be able to access that. And the class, it will be your research intern summer manual. It will have everything from resources to information for completing deliverables to contact information, all of that. And that's something that we'll be using a lot. You'll also be uploading any deliverables to Dropbox. So along with the web page for the cohort, make sure that you're checking the Dropbox often and going there as the first resource for any questions or information you're seeking once you start the program. And hopefully this will be an easier way for you to get all of that information without having to lug around a giant binder from place to place.
Okay. What can you do to prepare for your research experience? Remember, in the network, we showed a faculty mentor and a research supervisor. The majority of you have already been placed in a research group or lab. And I've seen all of the wonderful emails that Sasha has been sending out. I ask that you read the email, and that if your faculty mentor or your research supervisor hasn't reached out to you yet, reach out to them. And if it responds, I will tell you that you all arriving before commencement. Commencement at MIT happens super late. It's on June 9th. And it's a very busy time. Today, I believe, might be the last day of finals, or I know that it's this week. Grades are due next week. And so it's a very busy time for many of our faculty and our graduate students. So if you don't get a quick response, what is that you can do on your own? What you do is you might be able to figure out, okay, what's the name of your specific research project or the project description. But based on your review of the research group's website, check on reading materials. What's their latest published articles? Go on to either one of TED Talks or Google your faculty mentor and see if he has or she has a video or a really cool TED Talk that you can watch. Go on to MIT News and check out whether or not there's been something that's published about the research group or the faculty specifically. At MIT, we like to promote all of the cool things that we're doing, and there is so much that's going on that you might even be able to find out some information on the department website. Think about, are there any software applications or technical skills that I might need? We have here at MIT a website called OpenCourseWare, where several faculty and your faculty mentor might have taught a class and actually posted onto MIT OpenCourseWare. So you'll be able to kind of get a sense of how he or she views your discipline and approaches some problems. And it's not something that I'm saying, oh, take the whole course, but you might take a peek for 5 or 10 minutes just to get a better sense of your faculty mentor or the type of lab that you're going into. And if you can, send an email and introduce yourself. It doesn't hurt, even if you don't get a response. Do know that you all are arriving on June 4th and that your first day in the lab will be that Wednesday, which is June 7th. Thoughts that they should do in preparing for their research experience?
No, it covers, and yeah, you'll start on June 7th because you do a 2-day MSRP program orientation before that, which will also set you up for the summer to be successful. But no, I think that covers the research aspect.
All right. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we call here at MSRP deliverables, those assignments that are due throughout the summer. This year, we're really super excited, so drum roll we do have a few returners. Things are going to be a little different this year in that we've introduced a scientific communication course. We are connecting with the Broad Institute, MIT, and Harvard. It has a joint affiliation between the two institutions, and they are going to provide us, the MSRP General Research interns, a 5-course scientific communication workshop, everything from telling scientific story to elevator pitches, doing an illustrated chalk talk, as well as writing an abstract. And what's important when it comes to presenting your research poster at the end of the summer, how do you set that up on a research poster, and what is the story to tell about your research throughout the summer? So for right now, we have some tentative deliverable due dates, and the reason being is that we're trying to coordinate and align it with what the course is going to be like. So as soon as we finalize those, you will have them in your hands. But in the interim, the MSRP Google Calendar does have those events that we finalized that you could take a peek. But in terms of deliverables, we are going to ask you that if you have not, sign up for the Kaplan GRE course, that you take the practice GRE test on the ETS website. We'll be sending you an email very quickly about that. You are going to write a research plan, and that is a discussion with your research supervisor about what am I going to be doing this summer? What are some of the big questions that I have that I might be answering? Am I going to build something? Am I going to have some type of output apart from the research poster? We will ask you to write a statement of objectives and that is geared towards, that's kind of like your personal statement for graduate school, and that'll be geared towards the MIT department of your choice. And then towards the end of the summer, we will have a final abstract that you'll review with your pod and your program assistant, as well as your research supervisor, and then research poster and presentation on August 10th. So that's a day to highlight. That'll be a day that we ask you to get up and meet us over in Sandburg, which is a beautiful facility we have on campus, where you will be presenting your research to not only MIT faculty, but also many graduate students and postdocs and alumni who stop by to support the MSRP program. Every week, we will ask you to fill out a weekly report on a Sunday, and that is information we use to collect and ensure that everything is kind of going well for everyone for all of our interns. So, all going on, you don't have to know everything right now. We will have 2 days worth of orientation where face-to-face we can all talk, and you'll have material available in Dropbox. You'll be able to ask one another as well as your program assistants. And Claudia, Sasha, and myself are always either a call, a text, or a email.
And it looks like a question just came in of having exams proctored at MIT for students who will have final exams after they arrive. And if you can email Claudia and myself with the information about that, you can also share Claudia's email address with the professor or person who will be administering that exam, and we will work it out for you to take it at MIT with somebody from ODGE proctoring.
On this screen, you have our contact information. Before I open it up, well, actually, let me open it up. We might have some time. Maybe we could take 2 questions. We have a question that they haven't posted in the chat. Your family can come to your final presentation. It is open to the public. We do close the closing session, which is our luncheon, which happens directly after the final presentation, the poster session. But we can talk about that as well. But the poster session is open to the public. Okay.
Came in about luggage, and as we said earlier, you can bring as many bags as you want, knowing that you will have to transport them from one dorm to another. MSRP, as it says on the webpage, will cover the cost of one regular weight checked bag on your airplane. So if you are bringing anything beyond that, you will be responsible for paying for that yourself out of pocket.
Another question about the proctored exam. So when you give my information to your professor or whoever wants to set up the proctored exam with me, we'll set up the time and date that would work best for them. We can definitely take it on the same day that you're supposed to originally be taking it. Of course, the time will be different because of the time difference. If you're not from the East Coast or on the Eastern Standard Time, but we make sure to set that up, and of course you will have the same allotted time to take exam as you would have if you were home. It might be maybe at a different hour, but we'll be in contact with your professor or TA to make sure that you have what you need to take the exam.
And the last question I see that came in is, if you're still having difficulty with your MIT email, you should email servicedesk@mit.edu, which is MIT's ISNT help desk line. Give an MIT ID number and your name, and let them know specifically what the problem is. You can also look them up. You can line and give them a call as well. But that should be the people you talk to fix any technological glitches that you're having.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Sasha. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close because we're at the end of the hour. And the reason I want to close now is that I make sure that you understand that we are super excited to have you here. And we are going to do our best to respect your time, which means that in return, I'm going to ask you to make sure that you respect our time and our efforts. As you can see, MSRP has a lot of details, a lot of logistics, and there are literally hundreds of people who are involved in ensuring that we're prepared for your arrival and that you have an awesome experience while you're here at MIT. So more that you respect the folks that are here, their time and their effort is going to ensure that we have a successful summer while we're here. Anytime you believe that you can't attend an event, actually all of the events are required, we're going to expect you to let us know as soon as possible. If you're running late, you let us know. We are a family while we're here. And so if you're not at a session, but all 35 of your interns, your cohort is, we're going to be worried about you. And we're going to try to figure out where are you and what's happened. But we also do understand that life happens, meaning that there might be, your family that comes to visit Boston because this is the first time, somebody in the family is at MIT or in the Boston-Cambridge area. And we hope that you're able to do that, and it doesn't conflict with some of our mandatory fun sessions that we have throughout the summer, which is meant for you all to get to know one another as well. Make sure that you keep us posted on anything that happens because, again, we're here to support you. And just remember that we use the platinum rule, which is that you treat people the way they want to be treated. As I mentioned before, we are going to be a very diverse group of folks that are going to join together, and we're also going to be living in a dormitory with many other programs. And so we expect you to be professional, but we also expect you to be open and open-minded and kind, and that you respect other people's boundaries so that they also respect your boundaries. And these are things that we're going to talk about during orientation. And one of the reasons that I'm focusing and closing in on this part, and if you remember the network that I showed you, is that you all are going to complete the research poster. No, there's actually no question that will happen. So the output of what you produce will happen, and we're going to make sure that we support you in that endeavor. But what's really on what you're going to be responsible for is cultivating the relationships, either amongst your cohort, with your program assistants, with your research supervisor, with your faculty member and the staff here, that can help you as you're developing and growing, and also as you're navigating what this graduate school experience might be like. And I can tell you that really is the key, or I believe is the key to success in pursuing a PhD. Is yes, you're excited about the research and you're going to get your work done, but how you navigate the relationships is going to be utmost importance as well. So make sure that you come in with an open mind, and that, you know, it's going to be an awesome time here. We're going to have a lot of fun, but there's also going to be some challenges and some obstacles, and we're going to get through all of those together. Okay. Sasha or Claudia, do you guys have any last points before we close?
Go ahead, Claudia.
No, you can go.
Oh, no, to say along the idea of network, I'm excited for you all because I've seen the last 2 summers what experience MSRP is and how close the cohort becomes. And in MIT students that we get to know working at MIT, people are still really close friends and still rely on each other for both for networking, for research support, and just for friends. So it's really cool that you all get to know each other that well.
All I really have to say is that I'm excited to meet everyone and for the program to start, and excited to see your guys' final poster and see what you guys have been working on. I just have one last logistical thing. So your transcripts. I know a lot of you guys are in different quarter systems or your semester ends late. So if your semester grades won't be up until mid-June, please just send us what you have of your transcript, and then when you're able to order your transcript, please send us a confirmation that you have ordered your transcript and that it's on its way. Everyone from Puerto Rico, we are aware of what's going on in Puerto Rico, so if you can send us whatever you can get your hands on when it comes to transcripts, that'd be great. And then when you are able to order a transcript or do have final grades, please send them to us. We understand that because of what's going on, you might have some classes that say incomplete, and that's not true to your correct standing in school. So please just know that we are aware of that, and so we won't be holding that against you if you can't get your transcript to us by June 1st. But yeah, that's my last point.
Great. Everybody, it's been wonderful seeing your faces. Thank you so much for joining us on this call. We're going to make sure to send this to you all as soon as WebEx has finished doing its magic that it does on the back end, so that you all can refer to it if you'd like, and then the rest of the folks who weren't able to join us. If you have any additional questions, make sure to email us, and we'll make sure to get back to you. We're super excited. It's been an awesome summer, and just remember, it's going to be as great as you all, the work that what you're going to get out of the summer is what you're going to put into the summer. And so I ask you all to really take some time and reflect about what you learned and up to this point, and what you want to learn. How do you want to experience MIT? Because you can rest assured that we are going to try to showcase MIT as best as we possibly can, so you can make a good determination whether or not this institution is a good fit for you. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. love the headband. Very cute.